Steve. Thanks for being with us. Let's start with Apple. As I mentioned, it's actually been up for 8 straight days. You hold Apple, if I'm not mistaken. What do you think of the stock here?
Yeah, I think, the most overused line, Morgan, is you don't trade Apple. You just invest, you buy, and you just hold it. You don't go back and forth. You don't try to pick the bottom. You don't try to pick the top. It's just a steady Eddie type of performer that people want for their portfolio. So for me, I'm going to stay long it. I'm going to hold it. But I think what you touched on in the intro is that the marketplace was looking for, depending on rates moving higher, and then we got thrown a curveball with Russia. So what happens with the overall market? Volatility, in a word. And when you look at high growth tech names, those were the first to sell off during periods of rising rate environment. So now that we've heard from Chairman Powell, people are starting to think, investors are starting to think, hey, let me get back in there in some of these safer names.
So is the way to think about an Apple that it is essentially a defensive play within the broader tech sector?
Sure. And I think the best way to think about it, that's it in a nutshell. And then if you're a trader of this market, you have to look at the safest things go last. So before the sell-off, all of those high multiple names are going to go first, and then your Apples and your Googles are going to go last. Once they go, the flip side of that, though, Morgan, is once people get back in the market, it's the first thing that they buy. So Apple was the first thing that people bought.
All right, so speaking of growth and speaking of other tech names that have also been momentum plays, Tesla. I don't believe you currently own Tesla, but what do you think of the trading action we have seen here, and I guess across the broader EV space, which is higher today?
Yeah, so this one you have to have an iron cast stomach. I'm in Rivian, and that one has been just all over the map from 106 to basically $175, back all the way round tripped and then some. They did major debacles. The flip side of that stock has been Tesla. Tesla is actually seen as the stable EV company. And if you look at the recent volatility in this name, it's had a recent high of over $1,200 and a recent low of $700. So that is not for the faint of heart. And if you're in the name, I'd probably stay in it at this point. If I look on my chart right now, the number that comes up is $971, and that's the 50% retracement from the recent high to the recent low. People use that as the barometer of success and failure. So it might sound like it's a long way away, but it was just there 2 days ago. So if it breaks below that, I would think about liquidating your position. Otherwise, you're good.